to consider and vote on the Military Justice Improvement and Increasing Prevention Act. But before I discuss the bill, I'd like to first acknowledge that we've just returned from Memorial Day recess and to recognize the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice to protect our country and to protect our freedom. They got on a plane or they got on a ship. They went to countries they may never have been to before. They fought for our country, and they didn't come home. We ask so much of our service members and their families, and we owe it to them to take action when they're in danger. That is why I want to talk about this bill right now. Sexual assault to the military is an epidemic. Year after year, reports of sexual assault have gone up, but conviction rates and prosecution rates have actually come down. This stems from a fundamental problem which has to be addressed. There is bias in our military justice system. Right now, if you are a victim of sexual assault or another serious crime, the decision to prosecute goes to a commander, not to a trained military prosecutor. And while our commanders are exceptional leaders and exceptional war fighters, they are not legal experts, nor should they be asked to be. Nor can commanders be truly independent when considering charges against a subordinate or charges made by a subordinate. This bill removes the decision of whether to prosecute sexual assault or any other serious crime out of the chain of command and given to trained military prosecutors where it belongs. This would establish something fundamental to our justice system: blind justice. It's a simple change. It's a change that's supported by legal experts, by JAGs, by commanders, by generals, by admirals, by veterans. Opponents of this bill, and their numbers are dwindling, claim that this one change would somehow undermine good order and discipline. Well, I'll tell you, I've heard that one before. It's the same weak argument they've made time and time again. Many people stood on this floor and said that we could not repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell because it undermined good order and discipline. When we wanted to integrate the military and have Black service members serve, we were told we couldn't possibly do that. It would undermine good order and discipline. We made the case that LGBTQ members should be able to serve openly, that trans members should be able to serve openly. We were told, you can't possibly do that. It would undermine good order and discipline. When we asked for women to be able to serve in combat, something they've been doing for a very long time, but not necessarily getting credit for it, we were told, you can't possibly do that. It will undermine good order and discipline. But each of those times, Congress rose to the occasion and did the right thing, and did the thing that was necessary to make our military stronger. And each time, our military became stronger. Further undermining this argument is the fact that this system, or versions very similar to it, are being used today by our allies that we fight side by side. Allies like the UK, or Israel, or Germany, or Netherlands, or Australia, or Canada. They did not see a degradation of good order and discipline. They told us so. Finally, in addition to the opposition to this bill being a weak argument, the support for this bill is strong. And that support continues to grow. How many bills have you heard of in this Congress, or the last, or the last, or the last, has 66 co-sponsors? widely bipartisan. How many bills have Liz Warren and Ted Cruz on them? Or Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer in support of? It doesn't happen very often. But this is something that I and many senators in this chamber have been working on for 8 years, holding hearings on for 8 years, making amendments in the NDAA for 8 years, making the case that this change is needed for 8 years. And through all that work and through all that advocacy, we now have 66 co-sponsors, a majority of the Senate, a majority of the Armed Services Committee. This bill deserves a vote. This bill deserves to have the Senate vote on it now. It's time to pass this law, and it's time to do our jobs.